Hey everybody, Max Prime, back again live. We're doing a very, very special review for everybody. We're on YouTube Live right now, we're broadcasting live. So if you're tuning in, please, we have a chat room here. Share your thoughts about what we're going to talk about. We're going to discuss, a lot of the things we didn't get a chance to cover, particularly like Justice League movie and other geek topics. I have two very, very special guests with me. Please introduce yourselves, please, please.
You could go first.
All right. So hi everyone, my name is SC, our Geekers Online on YouTube, and I'm a bit sick, but good to be back. Good to see you guys, actually.
Yes, and finally it's working this time. And my name is Kim, and I've got a channel called Geekarella where I do comic book video stuff, other geeky things, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I'm excited to be here. First live thing ever. So we'll see how this goes.
Same.
Okay. Let's see if this works this time. Make you calling me out. Okay, so Justice League. How did well, I remember when we were planning this a while ago, we had high hopes on the Justice League movie. We got a taste of Wonder Woman, and we were about a good month out to Justice League. The movie happened, and let's get right into it. What were your thoughts on Justice League? That's just wide open.
Loved it. I really, really loved it. I think it was just like for all the different films, you just have like this inner sense of like dread. What is it going to be like? When it came to Justice League, I'm not sure if I just like lowered my standards so much that I was like, yes, I love it. But I think I'm happy to say that, yeah, it definitely is my favorite in the current DC universe. I would have to say. I just had a lot of fun watching it. I was laughing. The jokes weren't cringy. They weren't over the top. There were some very dark parts. There were some very lighthearted parts. And it was just so much fun to see all the characters there on the screen. I think that overtook any kind of like plot issues, just seeing all those characters together on the screen. Like at the end of the film, when they're up on that giant hill, I was like, that's my new cover photo. Like that is just such an awesome shot. Yeah, I loved it. I really did.
Yeah, actually, me too. I was expecting like I hope good, but it would be good, and it was good actually. It's not my favorite. My favorite is probably still Wonder Woman, but it was funny. I don't get people who were like, it was too funny. Seriously, crying over how it was too dark in the past. Now, just like this are what you want, and then don't complain when they give you what you wanted. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Like it's a happy medium. It's got all elements of everything that everyone asks for. I just feel like some fans are very, they just want way too much out of it, and that sucks because then all the executives are just like, oh, okay, well, this didn't work with this film, this didn't work in this film. But I think it's more like a DC hate train. Everyone loves to get on the DC hate train because all the films have been so, quite controversial in terms of if fans like them or not, on what's happening in the film, what they've done with it. So I feel like it's hard. But with this one, I feel like they definitely hit it really well. And I feel like they've really kind of stepped up in the films where they just feature one person, because Wonder Woman was fantastic. I would probably say I would watch Justice League more than I would watch Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was still a really good film. So I think I have really high hopes for Aquaman because of just how they've like laid out the last few films. So I am very excited to see what happens.
Now, when I went into the theater and, the movie starts playing, I guess, I'm going to agree with both of you. It was a feeling, actually, I seen a like really good quote to kind of explain my thoughts. It was like, that the child in me, when I first seen everybody on screen together, it, finally, it's like one of the dreams of mine actually came came to life. I actually seen everybody on one screen finally. You know, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash. You know, Cyborg, Aquaman. I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. I did, like I said, whenever I always say when I go into a movie, I kind of just focus on just the movie and I don't try to like nitpick things out of the movie. You know, I give it a chance, you know, and I just let the movie go and I try to immerse myself in that world, you know, like immerse yourself in the world, almost like using your imagination to enjoy it. You know, that's what even when you watch a Marvel movie or you know, a DC animated film, it's kind of the same way. You let yourself get immersed into that world. And I loved it. I thought it was great, you know, and just to add, like, I didn't understand all the harsh criticism from it as well. And I guess that leads me to my next question. Now, we seen Henry Cavill as Superman, and there was a lot of controversy in regards to his CGI, where his mustache was completely removed. And what were your thoughts on that? Where Henry Cavill didn't want to, you know, take his stash off and stuff, the stash Superman thing.
I think it wasn't that he didn't want to do it. I think he was probably very happy to do it, but because he had that contract with the Mission Impossible movie, they were like, well, we need to keep filming and you need to have a mustache. So
yes.
I think they did the best they could on the CGI, but yeah, to me, it really looked like he had like this giant mouth guard in his
yes.
in his cheeks. And I was just like, what is going on there? Because it was a bit weird. But I think, like, you know, couldn't they have put a fake mustache on him? I'm sure that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
I don't know.
same. Like, come on, have you seen those wigs?
Yeah.
There's something going in your mouth. No, so that doesn't make sense.
Yes, it was. It
looks so weird if you compare it to the other really great CGI in that movie. So.
Now, with the other statement from Kim in regards to the moments where it seems like it's really dark, then it switches to really light, a lot of jokes. Well, not a lot of jokes, but you know, you feel the light tones, you can feel the dark tones, and that also boiled down to, I believe, the two different shoots, because you know, we know Zack Snyder filmed most of the film, and then Josh Whedon came in and did reshoots, and you know, a lot of the controversy online. There's even petitions started about, you know, we want the Zack Snyder cut of the film, because it went, again, it was kind of, and then also, you know, agreeing with the other statement where it went from dark and then to light, and now everybody wants it to be dark again. So again, what do you what do you people want? You know, like, what do you want from You're never happy, you know? How can you mix dark and light together to make? I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I think they did pretty well in terms of the jokes, because when it comes to, like, and I don't want to bash any Marvel, but Marvel is known now for their humor. Like, that's just, like, when you go and see a film and it's a Marvel film, you know what kind of humor you're in store for. When it comes to DC, obviously they do a lot darker things. But with this particular film, I think they actually had a really good scapegoat in the Flash, because the Flash is, you know, they portrayed him as such a funny character, someone that's a bit quirky, and so his humor that added to certain situations was kind of justified, and it wasn't like all these different characters trying to be funny to outdo each other, which I found happens a lot, especially in like the Avengers, and like I found that happening in Thor Ragnarok a lot, although I did really like that film. But I think for this one, the Flash kind of took it, so it kind of worked, because it was like contained humor. It wasn't like, okay, let's blow it out and everyone has a chance at like trying to be like the town jokes are. So I think in that respect, I think that's probably what Joss Whedon was trying to do, because he's known for like his very witty jokes and everything. So I think it kind of boiled down to like using a certain character to like infiltrate that humor within the film. So then it felt a lot lighthearted at times. But that's my opinion anyway.
Now, as far as the character time on film, do you think that everybody got a fair amount of time, you know, developing Wonder Woman, developing Cyborg, Aquaman? Do you think everybody got a fair share of time on screen?
I think that they made you interested in them, And that's good, because I was really afraid of the new characters, the Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash trio. Like, never had them on the big screen. There is obviously a Flash TV show, and everyone had like their expectations, but these are entirely new actors, different environment, and I was really pleasantly surprised. I had a bit of a conflict about Flash actually, because Barry Allen, but like he really resembles the Wally West. So it's like Ezra Miller was fantastic, and I really like that character. And I think that Cyborg was really, really well made. Obviously Aquaman too, but Cyborg was like the biggest surprise for me. They were quality, not too much, but then again, there was a story to carry on that they didn't really have the time to introduce everyone, so whatever. So that's why they will get their own movies, and that I think that's fair.
I think I know a lot of people are complaining about that Aquaman didn't get as much screen time. I have this feeling that they did shoot a lot more, but obviously because Aquaman's film is coming out next, they kind of pulled back a little bit. Like they showed little tidbits of like his backstory, but because that's going to be the next film, they didn't want to like throw too much at us. So I feel like there were some parts that you were like, what's going on there? But I feel like it's justified in that respect because the next film will be Aquaman and they're just giving you a little bit of a tease. So, but I feel like all the other characters, they did a really good job in like introducing them to us. I think the good thing for them is that obviously Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman were already kind of established in the DC universe. So when it came to just introducing new people in the film, you know, the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman, I think they did a pretty good job in terms of like each individual person's screen time. And yeah, I was probably most surprised about Cyborg because he's never really been a character that I've been super interested in. But after this film, I was like, wow, I'm actually like, I would go read comics about Cyborg. So I think they did a pretty good job about like introducing the characters, giving them enough screen time. So yeah.
Now,
I really love. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I really loved the scene with Aquaman when he sat on the lasso. That was so funny.
Oh my god, that was great.
The funniest scene in the whole movie. That was really, really great.
It was so good.
Aquaman was probably my favorite next to the Flash, probably. Yeah, there's a real tie between those two characters within the movie. I also feel like I think everybody got a good fair amount of time within this film. Everybody got equal amount of screen time before they developed everybody and put them into the team all together, which leads to the plot and story and villain. Now, again, a lot of controversy on this. We had the story of Steppenwolf, which is one of the new gods from the world of Darkseid. His parademons are searching for the mother boxes across the world. Three of them that were scattered, and Steppenwolf wants to come to Earth, use the mother boxes to turn basically Earth into almost like Apocalypse, where Darkseid lives, for those non-comic book fans out there. Because again, a lot of controversy surrounding Steppenwolf. So my question to both of you, do you think that Steppenwolf, as a villain, was a bad choice, a good choice? Do you think as far as his CGI, do you think his CGI looked okay? And do you think that they explained him well enough for people to understand? Because I've seen a lot of people complain about Steppenwolf. He wasn't, he just showed up and he was talking about mother, and I didn't get it, so.
I think he was the villain that needed to happen. Like, I have never been a fan of big CGI villains. I abhor CGI so much. I just think that it's just so much better when they just have like an actual person or a character. But because it's the Justice League and everyone's got an immense amount of power, it can't just be like a random person. It has to be someone that is on the level that like they're on a high level, but they're not high enough to be, you know, to take over everything, and that the Justice League can prevail. So I think, like, I wasn't a big fan of Steppenwolf. I didn't really care for him that much, but like he was okay as a villain, you know. And all the parademons were, you know, very like, because they were all like CGI, it took away the humanity, so you didn't really care about what happened to them. I will have to say that probably the best scene with Steppenwolf was when they were on Themyscira, and he was trying to take the box, and he just kind of like pummeled over all the Amazons. I really felt that they completely held their own. I mean, they had no chance, but like the way that they kind of constructed themselves to like move the mother box away, I think was so epic and so cool. It just made me love the Amazons so much more. But I think even at the beginning of the film, when they were like describing Steppenwolf and stuff like that, it gave it like almost like a Lord of the Rings vibe, and maybe that's why I liked it so much. Having like the three kind of races of men come together, and like each of them has like a mother box. So I was like, ooh, I kind of like this. So I thought it was cool. Like I was okay with it. It's just another CGI villain, but I think the backstory behind it was okay. So I was alright with it.
I would use the word fine, because I also like really don't care about Steppenwolf like at all. I've read Darkseid War from New 52 and it was okay, but I actually more interested in Mr. Miracle, for example. So that is that. But then again, I really don't think that this movie was about a good villain. I think it was about a villain understand the team. So
yeah,
it really does not matter as much, because like many times people are bringing up how this villain or this villain was not good, especially actually when it comes to Marvel movies, which is actually true. I think that they are like really on like just one level, and all of them are almost the same. But in this case, I don't think that it was significant, because the significant part was like bringing all these 6 people together and then just like win, of course. So yeah, I think it looked good actually, the CGI, and I really liked the Themyscira scene as well. That looked really, really freaking cool. So, in the end, like the last big battle, that looked also fantastic. So
that was great. That was so good. Also, because Superman was in it.
And I'll agree with you that that's totally what I would say to anybody who, because I've watched tons of people who complain about Steppenwolf as a villain, and I said the same thing. I'm like, this really didn't have to do with Steppenwolf as a villain. It has to do with the team. It's like the team coming together, uniting as the Justice League. That is the point of the movie of Justice League. Like, that's where again, you have your Avengers, Marvel movies where it's kind of like they focus on that villain type, but this is not the same. And that's why, like I said, I don't really like the comparison, because again, this is the whole movie. Like, I was enjoying. I didn't really kind of care about Steppenwolf, but it was just the team coming together, functioning, talking to each other, interacting. That's the whole point of the Justice League. That's like when if you read a Justice League comic book, that's the way it is. That's how like it's just the interactions, the conversations between League members. I totally agree. Like Steppenwolf, the only thing I can critique that could have been, just for me, just a little bit more clear, is that they explained that he came from, he's from a world destroyer. He needs the mother boxes, collect them. He wants to pretty much terraform Earth, turn it into, his new war planet, I guess. I mean, and then the whole, like, him saying, for Darkseid, there's no really kind of like explanation to a person who doesn't know what Darkseid is. They're like, why did he just say that? So they could have done just a little bit better to say, oh, there's other worlds out there full of gods and things like that. That would have been like, and this is where he comes from. He comes from this area where these gods live, and just to give just a little bit of background to the people who might have been a casual, because I went to the movies with a couple casuals and they're like, who's this mother person? You know what? And then I on my other side, I have a comic book fan, and that comic book fan's like, are they talking about Granny Goodness? Is he talking about Granny Goodness, really? And I'm like, I don't think so, But
yeah.
So, but still, I still feel that even though Steppenwolf was the way he was, again, it was all about the team coming together.
Yeah, it had to be a villain that people kind of understood, but wasn't so famous that it would overtake the team. So I think that because they did a similar thing with the Avengers, where they just used Loki instead of using, someone like really, really big. Like they weren't going to use Darkseid in the Justice League because that's just stupid.
Yeah.
They've already done Lex Luthor, and he wouldn't have been a match for them. So it just needed to be someone that was a little less on their level, but still enough to create chaos and get them to come together. So I think they chose someone that was okay. Like they did the job.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. The whole parademons attacking. It just reminds me of the animated movie where the parademons just popping out all across the world, and yeah, that's so. Leading to the next thing, the runtime of the movie. Do you feel it was short? Do you feel it was too long? What were your thoughts on this overall and the length of the movie?
Perfect. I thought it was perfect time. Not too long, not too short. I think it was because I know it was longer, I think, and they cut it down. But they've got to think yes, we're fans, we're very emotional, we want to see certain parts, but they've also got to think as a business standpoint, they can't have a movie too long because it also means that it can be shown less times a day. So, for example, if you have a 3-4 hour movie, you can only show it a few times a day rather than if it's 2 hours or less, then you can have maybe 8 or 7 showings a day in a cinema, and that's going to get them so much more revenue. And though I'm always quality over quantity, but still, I think what they did for the time frame was really good, and I think they made a smart business move as well, keeping it at that length, because they can get the commercial side can get what they need out of it, and then the fans don't want to hold their pee because they need to go to the toilet or something like that. It's just, I think it kind of works out for everyone, in my opinion.
I actually think that, it could have been a bit longer. I like long movies, so that is that. I never complained about a movie because it was too long. So yeah, it was kind of funny that I think there was a scene that was in the first trailer and then it wasn't in the movie in the end.
A lot of stuff that wasn't in it. It was strange.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Where did that scene go? But anyway.
Yeah. So it could have been a bit longer, in my opinion, but I absolutely understand the motives behind making it 2 hours, compact movie, a usual movie. Yeah. Definitely had enough action in it, so we really can't complain about that.
Now, do you think that before we go into overall thoughts of the movie, just you say your final thoughts, do we think that the critic backlash of this movie was just ridiculous? Do you think it just makes absolutely no sense? Because as I was following after the movie came out and I step out of the theater, I'm like, that was a good movie. It's not the best superhero movie, but hey, it was a good movie. Then all of a sudden, I see this constant reviews pop up, this is horrible, this makes no sense, and I'm thinking are they just kind of copying off of everybody just to oh, I have to copy what this reviewer said and say the movie was horrible, it just seemed like that. It was just a repetitive oh, this movie's horrible. I'm like, did you watch the same movie? It wasn't horrible.
Yeah, it's so hard because it just divides people, doesn't it, these films? I feel like, as I talked before about the DC hate train, people love to jump on that because it's just some reason it makes them seem cooler, gets them more everyone loves negativity more than positivity when it comes to films. People like to see other people fall. It sounds so weird, but that's just humanity.
Yes.
So I feel even if a reviewer kind of maybe liked the film, they don't want to stick themselves out there and say something like that. So they might say it was mediocre, it was okay. But I don't get it. Just tell people what you feel. What's wrong with that?
Because I actually before I actually I watched the movie a couple times. After going to the movies a couple times. I enjoyed it. But continue. Sorry. Anybody?
No, you take the floor.
Okay. Well, if that is that, I guess overall, like final thoughts on this movie. Give it your personal rating. What's your favorite moments? Just overall, just go.
I really love that. I mean, I really didn't expect it to be. I also agree that people just love, like, it's DC, and that's so stupid. Like, they I don't really like Zack Snyder, so they wanted someone else, and they get someone else not good enough. So it's like, what do you even want? I wouldn't even say it was a good superhero movie. It was a good action movie. And fun, good characters. I actually really like the dynamics between Wonder Woman and Cyborg. That scene when they met on the street, that was really, really good. Like, it's not like a woman and a man. It's like kind of like a mother figure, teenager, or like a really young adult. And that was really cool. Like, finally, there are scenes between men and women, and it's not entirely romantic. So new characters. I think Ezra Miller did such a fantastic job with Flash, seriously. And then people were complaining about the outfits and like the costumes, and I don't know why.
Really? About the costumes? They were so great.
Like, Aquaman looks so cool. I'm sorry. Coolest ever.
He's the coolest he's ever looked, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like that, and the music was really, really good.
It was.
I love music in movies, and this was really good. So I really don't understand the hate it got. Like, I kind of understood with Batman versus Superman, but I think that was also over anti-hyped, or I don't know what's the word for that. But this one was entirely undeserved. I don't know.
I think that's right. I just remembered, because you were talking about the music, that there was because people were talking about this. Like, one of my favorite superhero themes is the Danny Elfman Batman theme, and I absolutely loved that they incorporated that into the film. And then the second time I went back to watch it, I heard the Superman theme. Yes. So I thought that was great that they kind of incorporated like elements, like, kind of paying like a homage to the movie by showing like the different types of like Batmans and Supermans that they've been out there, and using that music because it's so iconic. So I really did love that. I would say overall I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. I'd say it's probably like a solid 8. I would give it. Yeah, as you said, it's like it's a fun action film as well. It's not necessarily just a superhero film. I think they did the best that they could, and I think it turned out well. So I enjoyed it. 8 out of 10 for me.
Let me think. Let me think. I'm gonna rate this. Because and before and anybody who watches this video eventually, whether it be now or later, of course they're gonna be like, oh, this is a bunch of DC fans talking about whoa. First of all, even though yes, I might have a bunch of DC stuff in the background and everything, what I thought, aside from Justice League, my movie of the year, which I think is the movie of the year. I'm not gonna open up Star Wars. Like what I think movie of the year was for me personally was Logan. Like I think like Logan.
Same.
I forgot Logan this year. Oh my god, it did.
So that's just kind of like, just before I go into my final thought on Justice League, just to be like, anybody watching like, oh, he's a DC fan all the way. No. I think Logan again was the movie of the year beyond all the comic book films that came out. Logan, for me personally, that's just me, my opinion. Logan was so amazing. Like there was not one flaw for me in that movie. So emotional, etc. So that being said, going into Justice League again, I feel like there was a lot of this unfair hate. I thought that it was good. It was better than good. It was great. Like it made me smile. I love again the interactions. Aquaman sitting on Wonder Woman's lasso of truth, and he just starts. That was perfect moments in that movie. Cyborg. I love Cyborg. Like he was portrayed perfectly. Superman's return, you know, like I love that scene where, you know, he's fighting the Justice League and, you know, the Flash is trying to run behind him. And that was the most funniest moment to me. Oh my God, I loved it. Like that was just totally epic. Then the end when Superman finally shows up to the fight as Steppenwolf, you know, and you know, he says he's about truth and he's about justice, you know, and you can see the fear from Steppenwolf. No, a Kryptonian is here. It's so perfect, you know, like elements from the comic book, just, you know, to life. And even when before the movie even came out, you know, I was wondering like how close will they actually get this movie to the animated movie that they had. Justice League War? Yeah, I think it was Justice League War. And, you know, where the team comes together for the first time, the New 52 version, and they fight Darkseid and everything. And I knew kind of they would follow that same, you know, same plot of that animated movie, you know, and make it kind of just live and everything. But I thought they did a good job. Even the battle when they show Steppenwolf's past, you know, when they show the battle where they show that Green Lantern flying in the sky, you know, like that kind of was like it touched my heart when I seen the Green Lantern flying. I was like, oh my God, it's Green Lantern, you know.
I was so surprised when put Green Lanterns in the film. I was like, oh my God, they're going to do it, but it actually looks
yeah. So
that's probably the only thing I'm salty about. Like I really wanted at least one Green Lantern. I love the Green Lanterns. They are so cool. And then it did not happen. But obviously, like you cannot just put 4 new characters into 2 hours. That's not possible. Okay. Give him a proper movie finally. Because we don't talk about that one. That one.
So the end scenes, the end credits where we show the iconic race between the Flash and Superman, and then also the end scene with Lex Luthor and Deathstroke. What were your thoughts on those like 2 end scenes?
Oh my God! It seriously, he looks so great as Deathstroke. Like that is probably the perfect actor.
Oh yeah, that was spot on. That costume was spot on. Like there's
I'm still not really okay with Lex Luthor actually. It's not bad, and the guy's a really great actor. It's just weird a bit. But then Deathstroke showed up, and I was there with like a really good friend of mine, and I've never had any interest in Deathstroke ever. I hated his guts, and then this guy showed up, and I was like, "What the heck?" That was really, really cool. Like how he showed up, how he looked, the whole aura, or I don't know how to say it. It was fantastic. So I'm really interested in the new Batman movie, actually. Or which one? Which movie, right?
It'll be great. I actually, when I went to see it, just like the second time, when we were watching the after scene credits, I was with one of my friends. There was, because the cinema was so packed, there was a guy sitting right next to me. And that scene just like played, and then afterwards the guy's girlfriend is just like, "Who is that?" And he's like, "Oh, Deadpool. You know Deadpool? Like, yeah, they're I think he's a friend of his." And I was just like sitting there going, "Oh my God, how?" Like I don't want to like be that person. It's like, well, excuse me, but no. But it was just so cringy. He just started talking about like all these other Marvel characters that would appear, and I'm just like, is this guy joking? But like he was completely serious. And I was just sitting there, just like rocking my chair, going, "Oh my God!"
Wow.
I just had to share that. It was terrifying.
Wow. Yes, and for those that don't know, please, that Deathstroke came first, then Deadpool. Deadpool is a parody of Deathstroke. So
100%.
I've seen so many comments about how DC is copying Marvel, and I was like, "You're embarrassing yourself." Like,
just go away.
And it was like,
well, that opens you see the last little I would say the question for the both of you as far as for the new year coming in 2018 and after. Now, because of Justice League, you know, they've kind of like reshuffled their cards again with all the DC movies coming up and everything, but we know that Aquaman is a definite, and eventually the Flash movie, the Flashpoint movie that they're planning, that's a definite. How would you, or what would your, in your opinion, be? How does DC how does DC, I guess, appease everybody and also not be like Marvel, but yet appease everybody? You know, because to me, it's kind of like they're, as I always said, like years ago, I was like, oh, well, you know, Marvel started back in 2000 and was it 2007 with Iron Man, and they had about 5 years of putting out or 2008 putting out movies and constant movies over and over and over. And DC just like had one movie, and that was Man of Steel in 2013. So it's like they're playing absolute catch up. Also, let's not, you know, as I was saying to somebody, I was like, Marvel's not absolutely perfect. Marvel has had bad movies too. They are not flawless. They are not. Age of Ultron was a very horrible movie. The was it Thor Dark World, Thor 2? That was a horrible movie. Let's see, Ant-Man, even though Ant-Man seemed to be kind of popular, that didn't do that well either. There's a lot of Marvel movies in that, and let's not forget about the Incredible Hulks. That's why they don't make a Hulk movie, because they can't. There's plenty of bad Marvel movies, but people like to pretend that they're absolutely flawless. So when I say that when DC started in 2013, Marvel started in 2007. That they had almost to 10 years of time working on this. DC it's like what year, going on year 5 now, you know? So again, they're playing catch up. So the question is like, how long do you think until they get it right? Now, Wonder Woman kind of gave everybody the illusion like, oh, DC's on the right track and everything. And then Justice League happens. So then, I mean, again, what do you think? How do we make everybody happy?
I think they'll get there eventually. It's just, I think they've kind of slowed down a bit because they were before, you know, Civil War was getting put up against BVS, and, you know, everything was just getting shoved together. And I think they felt like, you know, like someone was chasing them and they just needed to release stuff as quick as possible, no matter what it was. And then whatever bad comments were taken from the last film, they just apply it in the next film, which is just not what you're supposed to do, because each film is their own individual thing. They're not all the same. So you can't just say, okay, let's put more jokes in this one, but that's a darker film, so how do we do that? Oh, who cares? Just throw it in. You know, it's just weird. So I think they're kind of getting, like, I feel this year they kind of did a lot better. Like, the 2 films this year are the best, are the best 2 films that they've done in the DCEU so far. So I think they are just realizing, hey, let's just calm down. Let's just let things kind of work out. Let's get the right directors, the right scripts for certain films. Because I was really afraid that they were just going to create that Batman film and just go ahead and do it. Like, it was too rushed. They already had, you know, director, and then, like, you know, Ben Affleck was going to direct it and, like, write it and, like, all this other stuff. And it's just like, you can't, like, you need to step away from that and be Batman. And I think finally he's realized that. So, you know, I think it's very important that they kind of sit down and analyze what they're doing, because at the beginning it just seemed like they had no idea, and they were just like, yep, film, release, without any thought into it. So I feel like now, in the next few years, we will see things get better. And I feel like Marvel's going to be slowing down a little bit, because, I mean, they've still got Infinity War and they'll do stuff after that, but, like, who knows? I feel like they're kind of slowing down a little bit as well.
I think that they will focus more on the X-Men. Now that's also Disney, so
that's true. Yeah, and that's true, isn't it?
2 or 3 X-Men movies released in next year. Like, there will be the New Mutants, and Dark Phoenix, and I can't remember, but, like, there's a lot of X-Men. Deadpool, if we count Deadpool as an X-Men. So yeah, coming out. And probably it will be focused more on that, except for the Avengers, which is totally understandable, because I think that they will kill off most of them. You know, got new characters in. But I really don't think that we should compare the 2, because it's not the same. Just like the comic books, like the entire feeling, it's totally different things. The only thing that is comparable, that when Marvel started off, and DC as well, in the casting, because most of them are like young rising names except for Ben Affleck and on the other side Robert Downey Jr. So he was coming back with Iron Man break or whatever we want to call it. So, and I like that. I like that they are picking up new talents and they are doing actually pretty cool. I think the best thing about Justice League, for example, was the casting. It was so perfect. Everyone was fitting so well on screen. But if you like follow Comic Cons or like their Instagrams or whatever, feeling you get. So I don't want to compare them, but I think that they are on a good path. And was good, and Justice League was good as well. It's just they also should stop caring about what other people or like the general would think. It was the same with Wonder Woman, and most of my friends, for example, or like my surroundings, like Justice League, even though they didn't like Batman vs Superman or Man of Steel before. So I really don't understand the harsh criticism it got.
So do you think that, like, because I know the movie's slated after, yeah, because they started to change things around now. Because remember they were planning to do like the Gotham Sirens movie, and they were planning to do, I think they're still planning to do the Justice League Dark movie, and then there's the Batgirl movie controversy. So what do you think works and what do you think doesn't? Like for me, I think the only movie that kind of bothers me on that list is the Justice League Dark movie. Because if people had a problem with the Justice League, like I was like, oh no, they're gonna do Justice League Dark, like that group of people, like oh man, like Constantine and stuff. Like I was like, yeah, like it's cool for DC fans, but for casuals, they're just gonna, I don't know, like I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, every other thing on the list I like, the Shazam. Shazam is not even a Warner Brothers film. It's actually, I believe it's New Line Cinema is doing Shazam and stuff. So it's not even like a Warner Brothers movie. So, I mean, that's again another plus because it's another whole another studio that's doing that. But what do you think is going to work, and what do you think is not? Like, I mean, I think Flash would work if they got a director finally. Aquaman, pretty much, he sells himself because everybody's in love with Aquaman.
Yeah.
And let's see, because I think they canceled the. I don't even know if they're going to do the Cyborg movie anymore.
I don't know if it's needed. I mean, that sounds bad, but I'm just unsure. Unless they build up his character a lot more, they've got to find a really good, because I feel like they've kind of already told his backstory. So it's like, how do they make that into a film?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Just like the Black Widow having a film just seems weird.
It's kind of like
it would be okay. Sorry. So it would be okay if it would be like a Titan movie because he was really. But they are making that into a TV show, so yeah.
Teen Titans. Mm-hmm. Well, that's like even when the DC TV had their crossover this year, which they had Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and people were commenting saying that was better than the Justice League movie because of how they brought everybody together and how everything was, because they went to another Earth, like everything kind of flowed perfect within that TV show. It was like the highest rated crossover ever apparently on TV. And they were saying they wish the Justice League was like that, but I don't know. I feel like it's two totally different things, though. Like with the Justice. But
also characters that have been working with each other for years and years. Like this Justice League is very new. These other characters all know each other. They've been friends for years. Even Supergirl's had crossovers with the Flash, and with everyone else. They know each other, so it just makes sense that the dynamic would work. But you can't compare that. No way.
Well, to end this rant, because we might go back to back now, because just to end this video in regards to Justice League, our final thoughts. How do we follow the both of you? Please, can you spam us your social media so people can follow you? Spam away.
Oh, sure.
Who's first?
So I have it's the same now. I actually changed my Instagram, so it's as geeking out. It's at geeking out. At of course, and that's it. You can follow me. I'm not that active right now because I've been to Japan for almost a month, and then I came back today. But please follow. I'm sometimes interesting.
Kim?
So I've got obviously my YouTube channel. So I mean, my channel's called Geekarella, but like all of my social media channel handles are Geekarella12 because someone stole Geekarella, of course. So YouTube channel is youtube.com/Geekarella12, and then you can go watch videos, subscribe to me there. I have Twitter, which Twitter handle is Geekarella12. And then Instagram as well is Geekarella12. I'm probably the most active on Instagram because I post pointless things and whatever. Love it.
You can follow me. I'm more active on Twitter because I'm not cool on Instagram. I don't even know how to, like, I post pictures and like I get a couple likes and like yeah. So I'm more active on Twitter at Max Prime Reviews. That's where I live at. I'm there like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Tweet, leave your comments, ask us questions about Justice League, leave your thoughts about Justice League, comment on this video, like, share, subscribe, comment all over this thing about what you thought of Justice League. Was it really that bad? Was it really that good? Was it great? Was it awful? Please let us know. Ask us questions about it because we're online. We are experts in our field. And what's that laugh? So that's funny. Okay, so signing out. We're gonna end this video, and we're also gonna follow up probably with another video if we have time. Again, just our year in review, just covering what our favorite things were in 2017, and we are out of here. So we're signing out. Goodbye. Farewell.
Bye.
Bye, guys.